Before I start, I want to preface this video by saying that I don't especially recommend taking Red Light Suzaku into this dungeon unless your team is really beefed up with plus eggs. This is an example of a dungeon that favors really consistent damage and recovery rather than spikes of damage every other turn. Red Green Suzaku are just another team entirely that has a lower attack multiplier, but boosts HP and recovery would be much better suited for this dungeon in my opinion. On the first floor, you're up against a random colored keeper. The tri-color keepers have 1.1 million health, the light and dark ones have roughly 1.5 million, and the rainbow keeper has just under 1.4 million. The elemental keepers preemptively hit you for about 17,000 damage, so make sure you have at least that much going into this dungeon. And unless you have more than 23,000 health, you have 3 turns to deal 1.1 or 1.4 million. On one of those 3 turns, you probably won't have the orbs to proc Suzaku's leader skill, so you'll most likely have to spend a turn clearing blue and dark orbs. This was the floor that probably blocked me the most, especially if I had run into blue or light keeper. So if you can get past this floor, then you can basically consider the dungeon half finished. On the second floor, you encounter Griffin, who has 1.4 million health and preemptively hits you for 99% of your health. You don't have to worry about him killing you because on his first turn he uses Sniper Eye, which binds one of your monsters for 2 to 3 turns. I use this time to heal up for his next attack and also get some damage on him. On his second turn, he uses Hunting Gale, which does just over 12,000 damage. And from this point forward, he more or less alternates between the two abilities, but be warned that every now and then he'll use Hunting Gale twice in a row if one of your subs is bound, which is what you'll see here. If he ends up binding one of your leaders, then definitely try to stall until it wears off, but it's not super critical because the next floor isn't too demanding in terms of damage. Chasers that are in the game. They all have 930,000 health and alternate between an orb changing attack that deals about 6,000 damage and a stronger regular attack that does about 7,500. This is a really good floor to stall on if you have a decent amount of recovery. The team that I'm using here has about 3,800 recovery, including my friend Suzaku. Since most of my abilities are up at this point, I just work on attacking and healing whenever I can, while waiting for the bind to wear off. Unlucky for me, I actually end up running out of heart orbs here, so I choose to use Echidna to stall. Once the chaser falls under 50% health, he takes a turn to use chase mode, which doubles his attack. If it falls under 25% health, he uses a nuke that does about 24,000. So if you do get a chance to get it under half health by accident or on purpose, make sure you kill it in the next turn. Since I want to make the most of having used Echidna's active, I run his timer down and wait for him to use chase mode first before I finish him off. On the fourth floor, you encounter Ra, who has 900,000 armor and 44 health. I use my own Ra's active to clear this floor, but it's not too difficult to kill him in the 5 turns that you get before he uses his nuke. If you do choose to take this longer route though, he uses an ability on his first turn that increases the rate of fire orbs by 10%, which is really bad for this next floor. The 5th floor's boss is Isis, who has 2.2 million health and preemptively hits you for 5,100 damage. She attacks every turn and either performs an orb change that does 8,200 health, or does a regular attack that does just over 10,000 damage. Ideally, you want to bring her down just to over 50% health and then finish her off with a really strong attack. This is really difficult to do with Suzaku team because of her constant orb changing, and in this run I actually deal too much damage with my initial attack. When she finally does fall under 50% health, she skill binds her whole team for 5 turns. After that, she'll do 16,000 damage every single turn, so it's really important that you kill her as quickly as possible after this point. On the 6th and final floor, you encounter Thoth and Sopdet. Thoth has just over 3.1 million health and preemptively grants himself immunity from status ailments. Sopdet has just over 3 million health and preemptively heals herself from any attacks under 5 combos. This is a really interesting pair of bosses because if one remains standing while the other one dies, then he or she will revive the other one with 50% health. Aside from that, Sopdet converts light and dark orbs into hearts every turn, making it really easy to stay alive. At the same time though, Thoth will create jammer and poison orbs and bind a monster every 3 turns, making it really difficult to deal consistent damage. My strategy in defeating them is to whittle down Thoth slowly while being careful not to bring him under 20%, because that's when he uses his nuke. In this run especially, I spent a lot of time bringing him down to low health because I had 3 previous runs where I thought I could kill him, but ended up missing him by just a hair of health, so I really wanted to make sure I could kill him before finishing him off. When he does get low enough, I use Echidna to delay Sopdet so that she can't revive him, and then I use Zeus for good measure, just because I can. And finally I use Suzaku active so I can guarantee a proc. In this case, I've brought Sopdet down low enough so I can end up killing them simultaneously.